Yeah, no, there's I at least see some purpose for them now, which has me excited, and maybe sometime I'll buy a third one.
All right, what is up, everybody? Shout Scout 0013 here, coming in with a video on the newly released ARF Troopers, and we definitely have some stuff to say. As you'll see previously, the little clip that I am previewing for you guys, where we make the case to even Graeme that, yeah, they actually are beneficial in some instances, and hopefully you guys stick around to see them all. We will list build a little bit in this, and I will kind of cover at least two different list ideas, with ARF Troopers being majority of the list, to just try to get them in and show you what they can do. So first of all, if you want, head on over to the Discord. This is where you're going to be able to chat with everybody and kind of see the different things that we are talking about. If you've got anything to just add or talk about, even like in Empire lists or Rebel lists, if you've got something that you wanted to talk about or have questions on, feel free to post them. And we've got a lot of fun ideas. Like if you've ever needing something, most of the guys will chat in and chime in and talk about stuff. If you've got, your boxes, if you are painting with work in progress, or if you're doing anything, it's cool to see what you guys are doing. And I like them a lot. So yeah, head on over to the Discord and join up. We also are going to be trying to do a league soon. So the TTS League, what we're going to try and do is set up like a tournament style game where we're going to have pods, and it will be kind of like a carryover from Friday Night Fights if you ever were watching that. But we have enough people interested to kind of just at least start a tournament and hopefully grow from there. And so I've already made the channels for that. So yeah, head on over to the Discord to become a member so that you can join up onto that tournament. If you haven't already, you can head on over to the Discord. There you're going to be able to basically get the videos early. You're going to be able to kind of have access to a bunch of different videos that are not posted yet on the YouTube channel. So become a member, and it also helps with giveaways and other stuff like that. And speaking of a giveaway, all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment down below in order to get entered in to win a $25 gift card. And that could go towards any unit that you are looking for, including possibly the ARF Troopers at some point when they come out. But all right, guys, hopefully you enjoy the video for today. Leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. All right, guys, thanks. All right, what's up, everybody? Shout Scout 0013 here, coming in with Canadian Bear.
Hello.
And Pally.
Hey, yo.
And today we're going to talk about ARF Troopers. They just dropped on Wednesday while I was doing the interview with Michael and Daniel, which was hilarious. And now we kind of want to go over it in depth a little bit more, and maybe even present a few lists, as well as talk about kind of like, long range and short range with the environment that we're in, because of the objectives that we have at the moment, and the fact that these guys are range 4 naturally, kind of like range troopers in a way, but the heavy obviously isn't. You can make that with Echo, but we can kind of go over ARF Troopers if you guys want. I'll just kind of go off of the card real quick, and then if you guys want to chime in on your thoughts about it at the moment, we can do that. So I'll first go over the card itself. So we have the ARF Troopers with Observe 2 as an action. They have Scout 1, which I guess we'll have to discuss in a minute. It's good, but at the same time, we'll see about the RPS. Low profile with red saves is going to be awesome. I absolutely love that a lot. Unhindered, which is great, because they also don't have a gear slot, so that's going to kind of suck when it comes to targeting scopes or environmental gear, kind of like which is on there now. They have 1 black dice in melee. They have a DC 15A, which is a range 1 to 4, which is really nice. So now we can actually go back to gun lines, and it's a black dice. They are speed 2, which is great. They're courage 2. They're special forces with 4 guys. They all have 1 health each, red dice, and they come with a few different upgrades. So the first upgrade that you can technically bring is a Jedi Guardian, which will give the ARF troopers charge, which is pretty nice. It will be their leader, so it's the last to die. So if you're able to put the two guys, which we'll talk about in a second, on there, it'll be great health-wise. It'll be Pierce 1 impact to 2 red dice in melee. And with the sidearm ranged, so basically they can't shoot, if I'm not mistaken. They have to just contribute their own dice in melee, which kind of sucks on a long range, unit.
It is funny though. They're not sidearm melee, so they could downgrade to a single black die.
Oh my god. Maybe do you think they mixed it up and meant to put only
I don't think
melee?
so.
Oh, okay.
No,
Blasters are so uncivilized.
that's exactly it.
Why don't they have saber throw? I'm surprised it wouldn't be like, melee to
Okay,
range 2. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk about that for a minute. I think sidearm ranged and the lack of a range 2, because it would be melee to 2, right? I think the lack of these two things here is keeping this guy at 22 points.
Yes.
The moment you add a range 2 to this profile, I think you immediately shoot up to probably 30, 35. And I kind of like having an upgrade that does something this strong for only 22.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of design space where they push the features on something, but they have to ratchet up the points. And in doing so, you lose a lot of creativity and flexibility in the list. So this kind of a design space where it does less, but you can fit more of it. I want to see more of this. Because if you want them shooting, you don't have to put the Jedi in here, right? There's actually another option we can talk about later. I would consider the captain for some builds for the same cost.
Yeah.
So it is unfortunate. I get that it doesn't have the range 2 option, but I like I said, I like that it's bringing the cost of it down, I think, significantly.
Yes.
Yeah, so. It's not bad. I mean, I'm glad that it's only 22 points, especially when it's giving charge, pierce, and impact. But I guess, yeah, no, it's great. I like it. It would be nice to have something else, but I'm not gonna be too choosy here.
I'd also point out, and oh no, here comes Graeme talking about Wookiees again. But like that's still getting you 2 more dice in melee than Wookiees have at max, unless there were 1 more than max with tenacity, and they still have 4 models. And you don't need an aim to trigger duelist for Pierce. So to the people out there that are like, hey, if you put this on an ARC Trooper squad, you only get 8 attack dice. It's like, wow, that's Wookiees at maximum.
Isn't it 10?
Well, no, 8 at range.
Yeah.
Oh,
at range. Like, I want to shoot more. It's like, okay, but that's Wookiees at maximum.
And see,
you can still put a heavy in an ARC squad. You could take the Jedi and the DC-15.
Oh, yeah, you could. But at least for like Wookiees, they could never even get to 10.
Look, Graeme, I'm trying to dunk on Wookiees here, okay, man?
I know.
AMG's making it so easy for me.
They really are.
I can feel you turning to the dark side with the fact that Wookiees are a little underwhelming at the moment.
I will say, I'm lightweight disappointed, and I don't know if it fit thematically. I'm kind of sad that this can't go in a Wookiee squad.
That would be really cool.
That would be pretty cool. Well, you don't know that yet. Maybe in the Wookiee Battle Force, they could eventually add that in there.
I mean, hey, look, if you want to give Wookiees a clone trooper keyword, I'm here for it. Like, let's go.
They probably wouldn't be able to share tokens or anything, but maybe you could at least give them a free Jedi upgrade.
I feel like they would have had to, unless they do the same thing as like the Flutter or the Snail Tank, and they create a new version of it for the Battle Force. I think they would have had to print a health thing on here, like the T series and Viper Recon Droid and whatnot. Because a 3 health Jedi that goes onto a Wookiee squad seems kind of ridiculous.
Hey, I mean,
yeah. Hey, Pierce 2 in melee.
Right.
Let's go.
yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So, no, I like where it's at. I really like where it's at. I think it's good design space. So, yeah.
Okay. And then, so I will say that the ARF Troopers did come up with a heavy upgrade. It was the RPS, which is still cumbersome, and they only have Scout 1. So we are still back at square one, where Republic does not have a way, unless you use Garrison, to put an RPS on the field that you can use round one.
Republic outside of Wookiees have no trooper-based impact that is beyond range 1 and is not cumbersome.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
You can put this guy in a lat and shoot with it round one.
But isn't
that still a move?
Yeah, isn't disembarking?
Disembarking is a move, but it's a move outside of the ARF's turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I gotcha. I see where you're at.
And I have ideas for this later, but yeah.
Okay, we'll get into it in a minute. Now, I know that you can add Echo in there as a heavy, which would give you, 6 dice, 2 red, critical 1, lethal 1, and immune to deflect for the entire dice pool. So, and if you have, which is also brand new, the ARF Trooper Duo, which are getting 2 ARF Troopers for the personnel slot, which makes it a 6-man unit, and then a 7-man unit with Echo. So you're rolling 8 dice at range 4, critical 1, pierce 1, possibly with lethal, and immune to deflect. So now you've got a nice dice pool up against any kind of force user that they can't, surge on your back and kill one of your guys. So that's really nice. But it does come out to an extreme amount of points of 144. So yeah, that's not going to be the greatest.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was shocked by the price of this duo. Only 26 points.
13 points per mini.
Yeah.
I feel like
the squad is 66. It should have been around like 30 something.
Okay, I got what you mean.
Yeah, it should have been like over 30 points, especially with the cash surge. But yeah.
Again, I want to see more of this design space.
Yeah,
it's kind of something that I was asking for a long time ago, where for Republic specifically, I was like, why don't we ratchet up the cost of the base unit and then make all of the upgrades dirt cheap? Kind of almost to enforce like an artificial hard cap or soft cap on activations, but allow for maximum flexibility in unit composition. That way.
Yes.
So we're not there, and we'll never get there, but I like it a lot. I see a lot of interesting design choices with this whole unit, and I want to see more of this.
I agree with you. No, I think that it would be cool to have cheaper upgrades, but have a max stat. Because I think you were saying it would even kind of balance out Republic for the most part compared to a lot of the other factions.
I think it absolutely would. Part of the hurdle that you have to jump is comparing clones to stormtroopers or clones to rebels and going, why is this unit 66 points and something similar is only 40? Internal faction balance matters more than comparing two cross-faction units. So, but that's a hill to die on a whole different day. It's just they're making design choices here that I like and I want to see more of.
It would be also interesting to see that be especially reflected in units that can take what is it? Um why can't I think of what they're called? Um what are strike teams? Detachments. So like for the base units that have like a heavy weapon to especially in those ones, put the more of the heavy weapon points into the base cost would also kind of balance out that whole activation spamming thing that we see.
Yeah. No, it'd be nice to actually get some more activations, just at least activation padding.
hmm
Yeah,
Now,
I could see that.
so what do you guys think of the observe on them? It's a full action to do observe 2, and obviously they'll scout, they can move, and then they could observe probably because it's what, range 3 that they can observe.
hmm
Do you think that it's supposed to synergize with Cody a lot?
Yeah, more than
It's
likely.
synergy. I think it synergizes with a few things. Um, One, it's the equivalent of an aim in regards to dice rolled. But if you look at who can spend the observe, right? If you're running a vehicle heavy list like I've been doing lately, it's great because now you can reroll those dice where you couldn't pull aims before from Clone Trooper. It's good for high consistency dice like red dice. If you've got a unit or two of commandos and you know where you're shooting, I'd rather be able to re-roll a red twice than 2 reds at once.
Mhm.
It's a lot more efficient that way. And then again with Cody, right? Like he's got his 2 command cards that say have observed tokens, do fun stuff. So it's a case of I don't think it's factored too heavily into the cost of the unit or the design space, but it's an interesting toolbox ability that it gets that's on theme. And honestly, probably opens up more playstyles because of that. Instead of just shoehorning it into a specific one.
I also feel it's great because then you can save your aim for lethal and not have to spend it to reroll.
Yes. That is absolutely the case. So I think that probably that goes back to just having an extra aim versus 2 observe tokens. You may not be losing out on much, but by the same token, you can like commandos can have their aim, pull another aim from another unit, and still reroll with observe tokens.
Mhm.
So when you start layering on multiple types of effects like this, your flexibility increases drastically. And being that I've always viewed GAR as like a toolbox army, where you don't necessarily know exactly what it is you're going to need in any given fight, but you want the options to be able to execute on any battlefield conditions. This is exactly what I want to see. I won't always use it. I may rarely use it, but when I need it, it's going to be great to have.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be wonderful to use with all of Cody's command cards in general. Plus, it's not like you can't, if you're engaged with Obi-Wan or another Force user and you've observed at least onto that unit, now you don't have to take an aim, you can take a dodge and then spend observation tokens to reroll stuff, especially since most Jedi dice are red or black for the most part, so you're going to be getting a good return on that.
I'm curious how much of their cost of 66 points comes from that observe too. Also,
So I've been thinking about that.
yeah,
Baseline, maybe not baseline, right? I look at infantry are 56 points.
Mhm.
You can add 8 for scout 1.
Yep.
Well, now you're at 64 points. What's the tax on range 4 guns these days? It's more than 2 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
So
looking at what the mortar, which is 20
Mhm.
points, or the RPS, which is 23 points.
right,
Eager alone is that 2 points.
right. So 10 points difference between infantry and ARFs. You get an extra range on your guns. you get a free 8-point keyword. You get low profile, which is not a keyword on any upgrade cards and is actually probably pretty spicy with red saves that have access to surges. Unhindered, which I think unhindered is flavor at this point, especially because barricades are no longer difficult terrain. However, it's there and it matters. So I don't know that Observe is really factoring into their costs at all, or these guys are actually really undercosted for everything else we've seen as range 4. And again, I like to see that because it might indicate a shift in design philosophy now that we've been in 260 for however long it's been now.
I mean, I think that they usually undercost things in the very beginning and then kind of increase it as they see what the community has done with it. And I feel like that's been kind of the history of stuff.
Most games do this.
And
so, but yeah.
The other thing is the objectives that we have now are not necessarily long range unless you guys have something to say about the objectives and gun lines and or objectives and long range versus the fact that everything is kind of pushing go towards each other, press W, keep going, or, because range troopers, I don't know if people have had a lot of success. I know that I was reading in the Empire chat on the Discord that someone had some success with them, but they haven't had success necessarily with shore troopers because they're speed 1 and they can't spur, and you have to use the aim for long shot and not re-rolling unless you have another aim to use to specifically re-roll. So it's kind of tough. So I think range 4 is great, but what do the objectives have to say about it?
It's kind of there's really only, well, no, I would say there's probably 3 off the top of my head, because you could probably still take advantage of this with new intercept, but you're still gonna run into issues with everything else that wants to be so aggressive anyways.
Right, I feel like you're going to be moving and shooting instead of aiming because everything's still trying to rush at you, but you might have a turn or two to be able to aim shoot or observe shoot, and then you have to start moving at some point. But your dice pools can be pretty big still.
Well, with intercept, at least I was thinking about like shooting across the diamond, so from left to right. You could probably do that.
Let's see, it's 2 inch, it's off 6 inch. You have a 5 inch gap between the edge of the point and your band. Range 4 between them. Yeah. Because it's a unit leader that has to touch, you can get real close to that other intercept point, but I don't know that you can actually tag anybody on it unless they've cohered towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
But you get real close.
Yeah.
So, because half range is what, 3 inches?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, you have one off the center. 3 more is 4. We'll give a half inch for the base, so you're 1.5 inches shy. Yeah, you're like just shy, possibly been able to tag it.
Shame.
Let me see. Right? Is that how math works? Yeah, I think you're just shy. Now that being said, there is a case of, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, human error, and sometimes I know that the objectives are designed to be placed the same every time, and that you move the terrain around the objective. This doesn't always happen. So if you get into a situation where you can shoot somebody on the other side because they did, even if they did not cohere towards the middle, should probably either do some measuring or judge call or something, because I think it's just out. That being said, I mean, if they have one guy cohered even slightly towards the middle of the board, yeah, you're tagging them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could try to focus someone or come from the outside of the opposite one, so they try to go to the inside and then shoot across. But again, then you still have to worry about the thing that's coming straight at your face anyways on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's what the Jedi are there for, is to kind of
Mhm.
they can start shooting, but then they have at least some sort of defensive style offense in a way.
What's interesting with the Jedi is because it has charge and the unit has unhindered. If you're getting shot by any of these range 2 units, they are now engageable.
Yeah.
So that may add some calculus to your opponent, where if you bring like a stacked unit of these guys, and your opponent has a not decked out unit of B2s, or they have a unit of Black Sun or something else in range 2, right? If they get into range 2 to shoot you, they have to do the calculus now of you can double move to charge them with Pierce. And because you're clones and you have low profile, you might still have dudes, like a decent enough chunk of dudes there to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, especially if you're taking a 26 upgrade for 2 guys on top of 4, that's
Mhm.
6, 7. That's at least 7 guys that, if none of them are dead yet, that are possibly going to be
With
rushing you.
with arguably at least one surge. So that it's I hadn't really put that together in my head before now, but that is interesting that you have this bubble of not safety, but like counterpunch, if you will,
Mhm.
where yeah, you can come in here and shoot these guys, but it's going to cost you.
Uh, I guess you could. That is interesting. If you were to have the RPS and the Guardian in the same squad, either way, it's impact 2, whether you charge in or not.
Yeah.
If it's at range 2.
So then, do you keep the Jedi on there specifically for defense, since they are going to have no offensive output ranged wise? Or do you sacrifice that spot for a clone captain, which can still shoot range 4 and still melee, but you obviously don't gain charge or pierce in melee? So it's kind of it's like, at least it's flexible enough, I should say, right now, to where do you want ranged or do you want a kind of ranged and kind of defensive offense in a way for your
If
back
it's
line?
me, if it's me, I think I take the captain with the RPS, and I think I take the Jedi with the bros. And it's interesting because I wouldn't be having this conversation necessarily if the Jedi wasn't or didn't have the leader keyword, but he does, which means he's the last unit to die or the last model to die. He's still a clone trooper, ironically enough. With low profile access to all the defensive tech that Gar can borrow from other Gar, there's a world where maybe I put the Jedi on there because I'm expecting this unit to get whittled down over time. And I want a charging 2 red Pierce dude to be able to tie something up in the late game or double move to lop off a heavily wounded unit or knock out a commander or something. Like just having one model versus 2 red and Pierce 1 that can hide and then double move with unhindered to get there. Again, it's not the plan, but it's an interesting. You might be able to pull it off, especially with how close things get these days. Like games are won and lost on the backs of leader models. So, I mean, maybe.
Well, then should we get to kind of a build, or do you guys have anything else to add to kind of like the ARF Troopers unit at the moment?
It's not the unit, but should we talk about the store of what this is looking like? Because this box has a total of 8 models in it.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the sleeper cells, that also has 8 models in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $10 cheaper.
And arguably more difficult to model.
Yes. And I'm hoping that is not an indicator for the price of core units coming forward. if that's going to, most of them at least have 10 models, if not more.
Are we looking into like Warhammer amounts?
I mean, I think the ARF Trooper's kind of already there.
I'm surprised we haven't been there yet.
I've never played Warhammer, so I'm not exactly sure. Because I don't know how often or how expensive Warhammer boxes are.
Say, yeah, we're at Warhammer, because I wouldn't include Middle Earth in that, because most units in that game are, 24 models for 52? So
that's not bad.
Yeah. Even still, the brand new ones are the same price there. But they have a lot of the, Forge World resin or like characters that
but those are
overcosted.
ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Forge World is just absolutely pricey.
Yeah.
But Space Marines are like what, $40-50 a box for like 4 or 5 dudes?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
yeah.
do we think it's a popularity cost?
I sure hope it's not a language cost, because that's the only difference between those two boxes right now.
It's a lot of cardboard we don't need. Well, no, but we're supposed to be making that up in savings for distribution, ease of distribution.
Yeah, yep.
I have no clue at that point.
I think the other thing I would say about this unit is, back again, overall, I'm excited. I'm excited about this design space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you wanted to give like just an overall feeling on the unit. But I'm happy that I'm not excited for them.
How so and why?
We already have a range 4 unit in commandos with high velocity. If you want the range 4 game, you build commandos. Right?
But okay, so if you build the ARF troopers with the duo, the RPS, and a captain, that's 10 dice at range 4 instead of 4 dice at range 4.
10 black dice that can spike, but you're still probably averaging around 5, maybe 6. And you don't have high velocity, and you don't have lethal, and you don't have access to surge crit or surge to defense, and you don't have...
You have a cash surge, and you've got the impact 2 with a red and a white in the mixed with 8 other dice.
They are different. I will give you that. But if you're building a range 4 plus gun line, I don't know that you're building ARFs. I think you're building commandos still, because you want that high velocity and you want that lethal. You may put ARFs in there, but they're the afterthought.
I think it's a give and take, because you have to be way more, stationary with the commandos, when you kind of have to be stationary with, obviously, the RPS, but maybe say that you don't have the RPS and you have Echo in there, and you've got Echo ARF Troopers, so that's 8 dice instead. Again, lethal and critical 1. That's still way more mobile than the commandos, and still throwing a ton of dice at range 4 and closer.
Me? Yeah. It's it might also be that ARF troopers are going to pair up better with the mysterious new second core for clones when we get the marksman squads. So it may be if you're going for like a marksman list, then ARF troopers are your first thought. But
maybe the other concern I have is they take up the slot of arcs.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about muddying up your order bag, because you don't have a way to easily get them orders necessarily all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, back to where I was happy that I'm not excited. They're a great design space, and I think they're a good side grade to a lot of different things you could be doing. but I'm not jumping or I'm not champing at the bit to run out, get a whole bunch of boxes, and start building list upon list upon list around these guys to see how I could break them the way I was with Commandos. I think they're just in an excellent design space, and I'd like to see more of these units that are good and do something either unique or a little different from what the Army's already doing, but not pushing it to such a degree where it's becoming like the boogeyman of the meta necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'll say I look forward to seeing the instructions to finally figuring out which of these models is supposed to be the unit leader. Because there's not a single one that looks distinct as far as a unit leader goes.
None of them. You take a unit leader in the upgrade slot. The answer is none of them.
True. Yep.
Yeah, that's a rough one, actually. I'll have to look into which one that one would be.
Yeah, especially when you have like the artwork and you have that one guy holding his hand out, pointing real hard.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like, what are your guys' takes on this unit? Just like quick and dirty hot take.
All right. So I think that they are probably going to not necessarily be in the 501st very much. I think that hopefully this is kind of setting up for an amazing 212th Battle Force. And again, I think it's going to hopefully pair well with the marksman and maybe future objectives, but I don't think that we're going to see much of them on the table. But I think people are going to be getting the boxes mostly again for that Jedi, because even putting the Jedi on the ARC troopers is going to be really nice. Yeah, again, you're wasting charge, but at the same time, you're gaining impervious and you're gaining the 2 extra dice on each person, and so it's going to be a lot cheaper for the unit. That's going to be just as hard hitting with Pierce. And if you want to drop them out of a lat, that's going to be even better. So I think they're okay. I don't think they're game breaking or anything, but it's just kind of like another unit.
I look forward to having access to low profile Ingar. I think the only thing that I wish I could have tried this unit in Legacy Legion.
It feels like it was built for that.
Yeah. I think the Jedi feels like it's built for 2.6.
I could see that.
But I think the rest of the squad feels like it's built for Legacy Legion. So it's
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I look forward to it. It would be I'm curious if Boyle and Waxer are going to get eroded to being allowed in ARF troopers. Just because
be
they
cool.
have the ARF helmets, which would be kind of cool. But then
Yeah.
they'd also get Scout too.
Yeah, that would be even better in a way.
I don't see you ever wanting to use Guardian, though. Suddenly, Waxer becomes a lot better than Boyle.
Yes. What is it? Disciplined or something?
Yeah, the give an order to
discipline
get rid
one.
of a suppression.
Yes.
My counter argument to that is if Boyle was in here, I would absolutely use Guardian on those commandos. Because now I'm in the same range profile as the commandos.
That's true.
So,
Yeah,
no,
I guess
that one I would give you.
you might want a medic or two.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's kind of inexpensive mini to die.
Cat on the
I see the tail.
Well, all right. Let's kind of. I've made a few lists. We can also make one if you want. I'll kind of go over kind of like the thought process and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and pull some up. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi with barrier, reflex, and defensive stance for the most part to kind of stay in the back line and kind of guard your guys. I've got Cody in there because obviously Cody and Kenobi are fun. with lead by example, because there was 8 extra points. So I kind of decided to do that, especially since there's not really much inspiration at all. And then just your 3 naked clone infantry guys. You have an arc squad with the Jedi Guardian and targeting scopes, so now your melee profile is going to be pretty decent. You've got ARF troopers with just the duo. You have an ARF trooper with Echo and the duo, and then you've got an ARC trooper strike team with the DC-15, and then 2 ATRTs with a laser cannon and onboard comm channel. So you've got Cody handing an order to one of the ATRTs, which is also going to hand out that order to maybe one of the ARF troopers. And then you've got an order that you can give to an ATRT, which will also give that out to somebody. And then you kind of have at least a little bit more order control, because if you spend just one order out of something, giving it to someone, you can. That'd be nice. The only issue is with Obi-Wan Kenobi's stuff. At least you're giving it with Cody an ATRT and handing it out to someone else. So you still have some sort of direct in there that can kind of give an order to even back to Cody. So like direct, I guess, an ATRT and then hand it to Cody as a coordinate. Can you do that? Is that am I mistaken that you can?
Yeah.
You direct, because he's not coordinating an order, he's directing the order, so at the end he can get it coordinated back. Okay.
Yes.
And then that would allow you to have at least both your commanders out of the order pool. And then you've got the laser cannon, so you do have some sort of impact. You've got some sort of melee threat between Kenobi and Jedi arcs. And then you've got some long range with the ARF troopers, some Pierce with Jedi and Echo, along with Obi-Wan. And you've got some observe tokens. You've got 2 each on the ARF troopers, and then Cody's got 2 each. And then so that's 6, plus then you can use Cody's again on 2 different turns for another 2, so 8 altogether. If you needed to have some fun stuff, plus some free movements. If you use Cody's 3-pip, basically you're giving both vehicles an order, which you're coordinating it out to both ARF troopers. Then you have 2 other trooper units that you can give an order to, so then you just give it to Cody and Obi-Wan. So then your core is the only thing in the bag, along with arcs and a strike team. So that's not going to be the worst thing. So that's kind of something. You've got some, again, Guardian with Obi-Wan and protecting some of your important guys. And I'm trying to use the ARF troopers as something. And I think finally this gives Echo a place to be, even though he's insanely expensive, basically 30 more points than your clone captain. But at least he's contributing to the dice pool a little bit more. And again, immune to deflect, so that unit could specifically go after your Jedi enemy. While Obi-Wan is also going to be trying to do that at some point. So then you can dwindle down an enemy Jedi while they're coming at you, and then when they finally get to you, Obi-Wan's hopefully going to take care of it. And then you have a Jedi who can also tie them up if he needs to with impervious. So all that pierce that they have, at least you get an extra chance to do something.
Yeah. The cost on Echo is still rough, but I think in this like new world we're in here, he actually makes a lot more sense in ARFs than he does in ARCs. And we might see him a bit. Like you said, the immune deflect is really good. I also like that he provides some offensive surge conversion, which is not something the unit has natively, and 2 health. So you're really not down anything by not taking a leader, because I don't think you can with Echo.
Yeah, Echo is a leader.
Right. So you're not really losing anything. When I think about it like that, his cost makes a little more sense, right? Because at a minimum, your leader's 22 points. So he's probably just like a leader and a heavy slapped together into one model. Because you're getting the range, you're getting the lethal, you're getting the surge conversion, he has reliable, I think, also.
Yeah.
So you get reliable. Like, I think at ARFs his cost might actually be justified.
Yeah, because
Or at
not
least
only
less overcosted.
yes,
Wow, so
yes, because now that unit has
listen,
2 surge
guy.
tokens for the most part.
Between
Between duo,
3, because you're still taking infantry
Mhm.
with
yeah,
reliable. So
Yeah.
like you with Echo, you might be back to just like juiced up infantry, which is not a bad place to be.
So I wonder if even with with Echo you can't take even the RPS, so it kind of sucks there. But all right, yeah, no, that's fine. That works. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So I've got another one here, just to kind of go over it real quick. This one is a little bit more different vehicles. You have just Cody with esteemed leader and recon intel, so that he can get at least a little bit of a scout in there. You've got a clone commander, mostly for the coordinate or the direct, I should say. You've got a Waxer clone infantry squad. You've got a Boyle clone infantry squad, and you've got a Fives clone infantry squad. So you've got all the boys, along with Cody, which is really nice. Then you have an ARC Trooper squad with Jedi Guardian into the fray, targeting scopes, and impact grenades. So now you've got impact 6, I should say. So the Jedi is impact 2, and then your impact grenades are impact 4. So you have impact 6, 10 dice in melee, into the fray, targeting scopes. So hopefully you're doing pretty good there. You've got 2 ARF troopers with the clone captain and the ARF trooper duo. You've got a LAT with Hound and Grizzer for the Observe 4, armor piercing shells, high energy shells, and onboard's comms channel. So when you give an order to the LAT in round 1, you're also giving an order to possibly the ARCs, which I would put in the LAT. And then with the onboard's comm channel, you're also giving another order out, which you could possibly give to Cody. Because of round 1, everything is in a certain range. And then the infantry support platform with the armor pilot, twin beam cannons for an extra beam, which is giving the observation tokens out, and onboard's comm channel as well. So that way, whenever, again, you give out Cody's 4-pip to both of these guys, you're coordinating to maybe both ARF troopers. You're giving a direct to 5, so you can direct to ARCs, possibly if they're close enough. So you've got all your special forces out. You've got both your heavies out. And the only thing in your bag is possibly the core, and you're giving your other 2 orders that you didn't give out to on the 4-pip on Cody and the commander. So you have very decent, if not the best, order control out there. And then the amount of observation tokens that you can use during that turn between using the ARFs to observe and then shoot, doing Hound and Grizzer for observe 4. That's 8 observe, and then you've got Cody that can observe for 10. And then sometimes you can use it on that turn, I think, twice for 12. So you have 12 observation tokens going out there that you can use for his, to use to do an extra move. So if you are locked down for some reason, you can at least try and get some moves out there and score some objectives like shifting priorities or recover the research, getting to your opponent's probably. Well, because you're probably not moving that far because your vehicle has to at least be somewhere in that certain range, so you're not going to be moving too far away from it. But I guess it just depends if you spread out your guys here, your heavies, if they do. And when a friendly unit declares an attack, so that's only twice that you're going to really be able to get that off in a way. But at least you got tons of observation tokens and stuff to do. And then again, with the twin beam cannon, that's another 2 observation tokens, so that's 14 observations, I guess. But that, everything's got recon for the most part except your clone commander and your 5s. But if you're bringing the garrison for your advantage, you can at least get 5s out there. So now everybody's on the board except your clone commander, your generic guy. which can probably just move and then hand out some surges if it needs to. But now everyone is moving on the board at a pretty fair rate. Or you could put clone infantry in the lat with 5s, and then that way he's on the board in a position you want him to be in. And then again, the clone commander is the only thing left. But you've got pretty decent order control on some of the things, on some of the turns, I should say. You've got the generic, synchronized offensive. So if you give an order to the infantry support platform or the lat, you can give an order to somebody else, and then you can also onboard comm channel. So that's 3 orders you're giving out on a 1-pip, along with, I guess I should say, direct and 5s. So tons of orders being handed out. Again, almost everybody's got scout. You're handing out tons of observation tokens, especially for beams or anything else. So and I don't know, it just seems kind of like an interesting list with ARF troopers, trying to combine them again with Cody. I don't know if you guys...
Yeah. You have a lot of overlapping, not only fields of fire, but effects. You dug into a plan with having a lot of observation tokens. And I think because you have 2 heavy vehicles, and especially the beams, having all of those observation tokens that you can just litter all over the battlefield are probably going to pay dividends in a way that you don't normally see. So I absolutely dig it. This is the kind of list I like to see. Like I like to see this a lot because you have so many options in the toolbox that no matter what happens, you can just start grabbing at things and pulling a plan together. There's a world here where, like, if your opponent's pretty armor heavy, throw the ARFs in the lag, get them out early, right? Because I think you said RPS in there. And shove that RPS out so we can start shooting round 1. Like, you have so many options. This is I think this is quintessential GAR play and what we may see in the future here. If we ever just get off of ARC spam.
Now, the other thing is his Cody's 1-pip, which allows just anyone to use the observation tokens, because when a friendly unit declares an attack against an enemy unit that has an observation token, you can spend the token to basically gain suppressive or impact 1. So talk about bring them to heal as a secondary objective, because now everybody is getting an observation token and everyone is getting suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then again,
very toolboxy, and I like it. Mm-hmm. Did you bring air support with this?
I did. Yes.
Great choice.
Yeah,
great choice. Well, because you take the ISB and you beam the things and you give them the observation tokens, and then you take the air support and you beam the same things and you give them the suppression tokens because of suppressive. Or not suppressive, but you're making your beam attack more accurate, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I found double beaming a group of 3 units to be incredibly effective. Like I said, you have a toolbox, and it's amazing to see what we're able to put together now and the utility that we can shove in our toolboxes. So
I do want to see at some point a Cody and Rex list like you've got with a ton of beam or a ton of fun characters in there.
Yeah, that old thing. Still working on it.
Okay.
I'm waffling real hard right now between laser cannon RTs and swoop bikes for that.
So, explain.
Well, laser cannon RTs are just good. red saves, armor 2, range 4, impact 3 on fairly consistent dice. Slap in some observation tokens, and voila, you're probably getting 3 through on armor. And range 4 with this new cover system never hurt either. RTs are just like primo. What the list lacks is mobility, and swoop bikes provide mobility in spades. On top of that, it turns out you can call me captain onto an overrun attack. And yes, Graeme.
Wait, what?
Well, you see, when Call Me Captain got changed, it no longer turns off high velocity, it no longer turns off immune deflect, still works in melee, works now if Rex is engaged, and it doesn't specify ranged or melee attack, it just says attack. And last I checked, overrun is an attack.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's neither melee or ranged attack, is it? It's just an attack.
Mm-hmm.
Man, next you want to do Rex and Flutters.
It's a thing you can do.
It is a thing you can do.
And because they changed the way overrun works, so now your movement tool just has to overlap the thing you're trying to overrun. I mean, trying to call me captain in those embedded Jedi has never been so easy.
Yeah, because overrun can work in melee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, five dice, 3 red, 2 white, into melee.
And
they have to have a certain.
Isn't it because the
Rex is 3 red dice, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's 4 red dice and 2 white.
And isn't it surging?
Yes, it is surging.
And I think you get the independent aim.
Yes, and they wouldn't be able to deflect it, and they'd have to have a surge, especially in melee, to block a lot of that.
And I think you can still spend dodges because it's an attack.
Right.
But no immune deflect, or no deflect keyword because it's not a range attack. Commander Luke doesn't get to hide behind block because it's not a melee attack. Like, yeah. It's
Does block just, I mean, in general, don't you just get to spend a dodge and gain surge? Regardless.
Let me look.
I think that's block, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Look, there's so many keywords I don't use.
Yeah.
It's my job to
same here.
not play with it.
Right.
Now you're going to get to use low profile.
Yeah, hey.
You don't get to use low profile.
Well, I just mean in general now.
Well, now we do, yeah. Yes. And also because I take Delta, swoops are interesting with Delta because if I never concerned with trying to order my supports, well, they all have independent.
True.
With Delta, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm. So I know a little bit off the ARF topic, but talking about beams and things.
Well, I wonder
I'm doing the waffle between, like I said, RTs and swoops.
Well, I wonder what, I haven't built anything with, commandos or ARFs yet, because I didn't think about how they could synergize or how they would do. But I'm sure a whole bunch of, let's see. So would you want a Delta in there, or would you want just 3 commandos?
I think it's a big bad case of it depends. I think because points are still a premium, if I'm taking more than 1 commando, I'm probably just taking 3 generics.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to necessarily call out attention to any one of them. And now that the gap in points cost is closed, it's not as bad. But it's still there. So...
And do you guys think that if you have the Jedi Guardians in ARF that you need Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, or Anakin? And do you think that you could just get away with having a Rex, Cody, generic guy?
I like...
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I would say it more so depends not on how prevalent Jedi are, but how more prevalent Force push is. Because if you have a lot of like Force users that aren't bringing Force push, then yeah, probably the Jedi Guardians are enough. But if you have a lot of things bringing Force push, then you're probably going to want to lean into an Anakin or something like that.
Maybe.
Okay.
I see the argument. If I've got Rex, I've never personally, and I understand this comes with having played him way too much more than it's good for my own health. I've never felt like I've missed Force push or missed not having it. However, that wording English works out. I find that Force push tends to matter like once a game, and that's when it either wins you the game or you lose the game because of it. And Call Me Captain's kind of just been my Force push because it turns out if you just kill the thing, it's no longer a problem.
Oh yeah.
So, especially with modern Jedi not getting surge to block in melee, I think I probably, if I'm doing ARFs and commandos, I'm probably in like a Cody Rex mix. Just because being able to use Cody's 3-pip combined arms when you would need vehicles to do it, but to shuffle commandos around so they don't have to waste moves on it has been like incredible. Especially for pushing Delta around, but it'd be the same with generic. It's just being able to shove them around. And then I think you put the Jedi on the ARFs because you don't have a range 2 gun line. So having the option to be like, cool, call me captain, here, eat 5 red, whatever remaining black, pierce 1 charging ARFs there are, like you're gonna make things sad at range 2. So while you don't necessarily have a range 2 gun line, and you kind of do with the commandos, because they can flip into range 2, you have the ability to go, hey, if you want to come into range 2 to hurt me, there's gonna be a crackback and it's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So you're shoring up a weakness with that. I've really come around on like I said, Cody and Rex together in this new meta. I think if you're taking Obi-Wan, you could. He'll keep things alive, but like he's a lot of points. So that's probably best left to somebody who plays Gallistics on the regular, and that ain't me. So that's determination.
With the Bad Batch, do you think that having the ARF troopers are a good idea? Because if you have the ARF troopers, do you feel like your opponent's not going to get anywhere near range of what you could get with the Bad Batch? Or do you think just having the Bad Batch itself is going to keep your opponent from moving too far, and that the ARF troopers will actually have the range to get them and start picking them off before they can even get close?
Having attrition is never a bad thing. I think that question's probably more heavily determined by the rest of the list. It sounds kind of like a cop-out answer, but I really think that's what it is. Like, your ARF Bad Batch combo together is going to depend on which commander are you taking, what supports are you taking, do you have a heavy, like what does the rest of the list around these units look like? Now, that being said, ARFs and Bad Batch, the Bad Batch can't absorb tokens, so being able to just litter a thing the Bad Batch is gonna bad touch with observe tokens is not terrible. You're taking a fairly consistent die pool and really like rolling it in. Especially because Bad Batch generates aims with tactical, but like if some of your more consistent dice miss, being able to burn aims on the less consistent dice and then observe tokens on like your red or whatever, the couple black that you rolled their blanks. Observation tokens at Bad Batch is a combo that I don't think we've seen yet that might turn into a thing.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, you could do something like Cody just as he is, Rex with recon, because why not? Bad Batch 2 infantry with your choice of 22-point heavy, 1 without a heavy, and then 3 ARFs with captains and duos, and then a laser RT for 10. And you still have 8 points to mess around with.
All right, so you said, if I'm getting this correct, you said Cody by himself, Captain Rex with just recon.
Yep.
Bad Batch, a clone infantry with any kind of heavy. Clone trooper infantry with what else?
So it's 2 with your choice of 22-point heavy, whether that's Z6 or shotgun. 1 without a heavy, and then 3 ARFs with captains and duos, or you could swap some captains out for Jedi, and then laser RT.
You should have 8 points to do with what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give... Let's see. Should you try any kind of like command upgrade with either lead by example for 8, since none of them have inspire, or would you try to do like an improvised orders on any of them, or maybe the jetpack on Rex just to generate more aim tokens so he doesn't have to climb, and then maybe like a smoke grenade on ARF, one of the ARF troopers?
You probably at least do improv so that if you draw a Bad Batch early, you can throw them back in the bag and go with something else later. And then you know me, ever since PAX, I've fallen in love with smokes.
Yeah. No, they're good, especially with low profile. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Low profile and what else? Yeah, and red saves. Oh goodness.
Mm-hmm. Finally getting rid of some extra dice and then throwing 8 more or so, or 6 or 7, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fun build. That's a good 10 activation list. You got some armor in there. You've got direct, the ATRT, and seems like a good little.
You give Scout to Cody and Bad Batch and let Cody get an early shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you, I guess you're playing Bad Batch's 3-pip first.
Not necessarily. Might do
Air support, maybe?
yeah, probably like air support, and then give the order to Cody so you can better control when he's coming out to deliver the big splash.
Okay. And at least he has to aim too, I think, because of the.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's getting a free move from Rex. So
yeah, Scout 2 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a super fun list.
Yeah. We just have to actually get myself to want to buy Bad Batch.
Well, you're getting behind because I don't know how many boxes. I was actually going to ask, okay, the big question, I'm sure that's on everybody's mind, is how many boxes of ARF Troopers are y'all planning to get?
Just 2.
Paul?
Yeah.
3. I'm going to probably get 3 because the Jedi.
God, I have 4 of them already paid off.
Why 4? Just for like 501st or?
So, I'm a single faction kind of guy. All I play is Gar.
Yep.
But I max out every legal unit that I can take in Gar. So I have 2 Lats, 2 Saber Tanks, 2 ISPs, 6 of the melee Wookiees, 3 of the ranged. Like I've maxed everything. So I have 4 ARFs paid off because there is a list that is legal with 4 ARFs.
That's true. I'm wondering what
for ARF
the
units?
for the
And
I guess
501st
501st.
specifically. Yeah.
Oh
Specifically.
yeah, that's right.
So,
Right.
will I ever use 4? No. But they are there for the day I feel like I just need to do something weird. So every day.
Just wait till the 212th comes out and it's treat ARF as core.
Well, then I'll be picking up 2 more, won't I?
That's an expensive unit to buy. What, 6 of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solar's trying to get a hold of 2 saber tanks.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Watch out for that black market eBay.
What? Currently, the boxes are open, but they are not assembled. Next up on the assembly line is
Or you didn't have them yet?
I had them. I pulled them out of the basement.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, this is next on the assembly line.
Nice.
So yeah. Doing the things.
I mean,
like
I don't know.
ours.
What kind of build would you do with ARF Troopers in 501st? Because it's getting pretty expensive at 8 units. I'm almost at 958 with Anakin. I guess you'd have to go with like Rex and make a more so just gun line.
Well, I mean, yeah, why would you take Anakin? He's a glow stick. He's not even good. Why would you do that?
I guess you could get about 10 activations in here somewhere.
Let's see. We go Rex. We take our obligatory core. We take our obligatory ARF. Oh God. See, so here's the problem I have in life. Commandos are good. I'm a sucker for ATRTs. And I think if I have a first, double RT is probably where you want to be for the impact. Well, no, now we have ARF troopers.
I was going to say you have RPSs and the ARF Troopers at that point. So why not bring clone commandos?
You know. Oh, but we want a LAT because I'm crazy and I need a LAT in 501st.
Okay.
Shock Trooper, AP,
Yeah.
HE. Do I have onboard comms? I don't think I have onboard comms. Why would I do that? That would be good. Don't do that. Okay, so here's the shindig here, right? I'm going to take 2 ARFs, and I'm also going to take 2 ARCs.
Any strike teams?
I don't know yet. Loading, please wait. Okay, starting with Rex. Obligatory jetpack and recon intel. Because if you're taking Rex, take a jetpack. Just do it. You'll thank me later. ARC Troopers, Jedi on both of them. Because it's that good. ARF Troopers, I think we're going to do captains on these guys. Right?
And I feel like you got to have the duo. Come on, that's like 2 guys for 26 points.
How many pesos is a strike team? 63 for 2 strike teams? 9x? I could do that. I could see that being a thing. Well, we'll come back to that later. ARF Troopers, captains, taking the duos. Cool, that's a 7 model unit. I don't hate that, actually. 9x, 812. I want to fit some more X in there.
Did you
Do I just
use yet?
Oh God, you're right. I completely forgot about my boys. Goodbye, infantry. You were there and then you were gone. Oh, maybe hold on. So the strike team is 63 points. A squad of commandos is 27 points more. Survey says yes, please. Generic commandos, 2 of them. Do that, or yeah, because I want saturation there. 9x. Hey, Mr. Clone Trooper Infantry. How's it going? Hey, Mr. Clone Trooper Infantry, how's it going? Okay, ARC troopers with the Jedi. I think that's fine. ARFs with the captain and the duos, 2 of those. So we have a 2-2 split. I think that's fine. I still have 22 points. What am I going to do with 22 points? There's so many. 11 activations.
Yeah, so I've got Captain Rex at your jetpack and recon, 2 clone trooper infantries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I have 3 currently.
Oh, 3 currently. Got you. So that's 12 activations at 982 I've got for you. Because you have your 3 clone infantry, your 2 arcs with Jedi, your 2 ARFs with clone captain, ARF duo. You have 2 strike teams, and then you have 2 commandos, which puts you at 12 activations and 982.
I pulled the 2 strike teams off, and I've got a lat. However, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ditch the lat. I think I'm going to ditch the lat. And I'm going to actually put RPSs on both of these ARFs. Am I going to put RPSs on both of these ARFs? Now, these guys are kind of stacked. It is. I lied. I'm not putting RPSs on the ARFs. I'm putting RPSs on... Oh, but mortars are only 20 points, and mortars are so good.
Yeah, the critical is pretty decent.
It's oppressive. They're so good.
What about a generic clone commander in there?
Oh, I mean, you could. Give me a second here. Why does list building have to be so hard?
Well, that's what we do this for.
AMG, I need you to plug your ears and don't listen to the words I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
See, when they changed X-Wing and they gave us a little cookie cutter units, it made list building easy, which is great for somebody who had no idea how to play X-Wing, because it's like, cool, models, have fun. I'd like to point out that game died. List building hard, man. I just want all the plastic toys. Just want all of them.
Yep.
I feel like I need to now shave some points. Going back to RTs from Commando. See, this is how I list build. I just start throwing units at the wall, and eventually either something sticks or I go take a nap.
Yeah?
This is Pally list building at its finest. Okay, Captain Rex. We have... Well, I guess we can go back to the 2 strike teams now, because why not? Hey, look, strike teams. Huzzah. Ooh, 12x, 942. You know what that tells me? That tells me I can fit another clone infantry. 13x, 998. I have... Oh, I do have anti-armor. I've got impact 6. Cool. So we have Clone Captain Rex with jetpack and recon, because Clone Captain Rex is cool like that. We have 4 naked clone trooper infantry, because it turns out the boys just get things done. We have 2 ARC troopers with Jedi Guardian, 2 ARF troopers with the clone captain and the ARF trooper duo, 2 strike teams, because why not, and 2 laser cannon RTs. I don't know what I'm going to do with those last 2 points. I might use them as a bid so I can be blue player. Just kidding.
I guess I would say give something unhindered, but everything's going to have pretty much unhindered, or you can't
literally everything. Yeah. You know what Mr. Clone Trooper Infantry? You now get unhindered. Congratulations. Out of everybody that gets shot, it's going to be you guys, because you're worth 2 more points.
Right? 13 activations for all clones and some ATRTs is not bad. And then you've got a lot of range. You got a lot of range 4 and 5 between the strike teams and the 2 ARFs, so that's 4 units that are shooting pretty far.
7 model ARFs. So those RT walls matter.
Yeah.
Just like, oh no, this unit's gonna die. Shove an RT in front of it. Neener. Now you can't see it. That has won me more games than I care to think about.
Yeah, no, they do pretty well, and everything's got scout except for two clone infantry squads.
Yeah, Bill and Harry. They don't have scout. They get left behind.
The environmental gear guys, they're hanging out a little bit, so they don't get
Yeah, they'll
shot
get
as
there
much.
eventually.
Yeah.
hmm
But that seems like a good one.
You have. So let's see. You have reliable 4 in the list, plus 2 cached surges. Rex's 4-pip or Rex's 3-pip will give you 2 more surges. Attack of the Clones will give you 3 more surges. Do you take Attack of the Clones? You can take Attack of the Clones. You take whatever the first 3-pip is.
Yeah.
You probably take you probably take Attack of the Clones and you leave We're Not Programmed at Home.
Yeah. Because Indomitable is so good.
So the Rebel plan of just shoving bodies on table to survive, but red saves with surges and a lot of range 4 and charging piercing arcs and RTs because anti-arc. Like, sorry, Rebels, you guys were doing so good.
Okay. Proving me wrong that 501st deserves ARF troopers.
I don't think I'll ever. No.
They didn't deserve it.
For
They're
every
deserved to
ARF
have some restrictions.
For every ARF in a 501st list is potentially 1 less arc, if not 1.5 less.
Yeah, but we need those ARC troopers. Those guys get it done.
I don't know about that. No, I actually think the 2-2 split's really interesting.
2-2-2.
Which is currently what I have. Yeah.
6 special forces.
Yeah.
And the ARFs are going to pair up nicely with the strike teams, especially. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's the quintessential hurry up and wait. You get to do all the scouting on the board and then just sit in the back and shoot at range 4. Which actually probably means that realistically, with the amount of pressure you're putting on your opponent, you might slow them down for at least half a turn on trying to get onto the board to push up on the objectives. And anything that they do push forward, like your opponent's choice with this is basically going to be either A, push forward my units round 1 so that they can move and shoot round 2, and then they just get absolutely shredded by range 4. Or B, I hold back range 1 or round 1 so I'm not getting absolutely shot to pieces. But then you have to double move range round 2, and then you're still getting shot to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, what objectives would you try to have with the...
Well, we have Rex, so we're going to take hostage. Oh, just kidding.
Oh, sad days.
Right.
You
want like...
Close the pocket would be good.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that one you definitely can reach from the outside to the inside.
I think close the pocket would absolutely be really good. I would take close the pocket.
Bunker assault. I mean,
is not ideal.
You technically got 6, 6 special forces. I guess that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe intercept or recover. I guess recover, because, I mean, you've got so long range, you can spread out okay, or shifting even.
The thing with bunker assault, I think this might be interesting, is you have enough special forces and 2 mobile walls and 13 activations with decent enough control. You could feasibly, like, blow up your opponent's bunkers round 3. I mean, you're sacrificing 2 strike teams to do it, but oh no, now you have no bunkers.
Oh no, I'm only down to 11.
Right. I think bunker assault is just cheeky enough that might be a thing. You're probably going to suffer against like Wookiees or some other spammy type special forces list or hero list like Rebels, but I could do it. I don't know about the third one though.
I would say either. No, go ahead. Sorry, Graham.
Oh no, I was gonna probably say the same thing you were thinking. Probably either recover or shifting.
Yeah, I would say even shifting, because, like I said, I usually let my opponent on round 2 try to keep moving up towards the objectives, and then at the end of the round push them more towards me. And the entire round 2, I've been shooting at range 4, and then range 3, I barely have to move because I've scouted up so far, and I've just been aiming and shooting that I'm practically in range of the shifting priorities, and I've been shooting probably more like precisely because I've been getting aims and or observe tokens than they've been moving and shooting and not having any aims or anything like that. So I think shifting priorities would be pretty decent, and or again recover the research, because you can spread out and still have a pretty decent line of fire with range 4.
I think the hiccup with recover the research is you can get rushed by a range 2 line and you might be in trouble. Whereas with shifting priorities, you can help alleviate that by either pushing your opponent's objectives towards you if they're longer range, or pushing them away so they now have to dedicate more forces towards those and like split units off, and you can still punish them as they move. On top of that, having strike teams to sit on back point for shifting is like primo. So absolutely, I think I like shifting myself. I'm gonna skip to advantages real quick because one, you just take advanced intel, do it. It's an auto include.
Cunning. I like cunning.
I'm actually on train ordnance and strafing right now.
Okay.
So long as you remember to play them.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing pretty okay with it so far, and it turns out just having suppression bombs that go off before scoring is kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Especially with 13 activations at long range, it'll just keep applying suppression as well.
True. But what
Like,
about sorry, go ahead.
I'll say I just the more I fiddle with it, fortified's okay, not the greatest. It doesn't really matter these days. Cunning, the extra dodges is interesting because it makes you a little more defensive, but I think you get around that by just like being at range 4 round 1 and not caring. And anything that can shoot you at that range, there's a fairly decent chance that it has high velocity, so your dodges aren't going to matter anyways.
Okay.
Garrison is a choice. Now you only have 1 core left behind instead of 2. I mean, arguably that's 50% better, but like, what are you giving up to have Garrison?
Maybe 3 dodges, or maybe impact.
I guess you'd be giving up 2, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Since you're going to get 1 from the prepared positions.
Yeah.
Technically.
I think Gar's in an interesting space where you can almost really lean into suppression games and come out on top. That's been my fiddling the past several months now with that Saber Tank and ISP is like, which 3 units can I pick that just don't get to activate for the rest of the game? It turns out doing that to full bricks of B2s is cheeky and mean.
Yeah. It's also fun getting to score, bringing them to heal turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I had the great pleasure too of going up against an Echo base defenders that did all of the standby shenanigans round 1. And it's like, hey, all of our standbys on our entire side of the board is range 3. And I went, cool. Here's beam 6. You have no more standbys.
Oof.
You played yourself.
That's a good counter to those standbys. Good Lord. But
And beam got changed with 260. I don't know if anybody realized it. There's no max range on beam. You have to hit
from beam to beam.
No, so it's still range 1.
Okay.
Your first shot, so like the ISP is 1 to 4, right?
Yeah.
Let's say your first shot's at range 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your second shot could be at range 5. And your third shot could be at range 6.
To be fair, I forgot that it had to stay at max range 4 in Old Legion.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. I'm glad that got changed because that makes more sense. Goodness.
Yeah, so if you drop a beam on a flank, you can just zip a whole line of things that people thought were out of range. No, I can touch them.
All right.
I like it.
But I like ARFs back to where we started this. I
Yes.
like ARFs. I like that I'm not excited about them, but I am excited to not necessarily build around them, but sprinkle them into lists. They're excellent utility. And I do think we are going to see them a lot, but I don't think they're going to be as meta warping as Commandos were.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to be good.
Agreed.
And that makes me happy.
Yeah. I think these are some good final thoughts. And I think it's going to be great, especially if we get new objectives that make gun lines better. And I think that they'll shine a little bit more when we get different objectives. But I think for the most part, for some of the objectives that we do have, they're great at covering ARC troopers in a way, or Jedi. And I think that they're going to be great just to have a new keyword that is not in Republic with low profile. And I like the Jedi. I do like the fact that we've got some generic stuff that we could put on the Special Forces guys.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts for you, Graeme?
Yeah. I will say before talking this over with you guys, I was more down on them, mostly because there was nothing obvious to make them worthwhile. Especially with the scout cumbersome Nambo. But yeah, no, there's I at least see some purpose for them now, which has me excited, and maybe sometime I'll buy a third one. But yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad that we could at least kind of make you think that there's a little more use to them than nothing.
Although I will say, why are there only Zabrak heads for the Jedi? There is space on that sprue left, from what I've seen.
And
also,
do we have any Zabrak Jedi ever that we've seen or coming or going to see?
So, you know how there used to be an old joke about how we got confirmed units through card art?
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, the most prevalent place that we see Zabrak Jedi are in the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he especially looks like the one from the cinematic.
Mm-hmm. All right, kids, you heard it here. Old Republic confirmed through art.
Yeah, I think the only Clone Wars era one I think it's Ethkoth is his name. He's supposed to be originally everyone thought or he was dead, and then he was allowed to come back in the Clone Wars show and not be dead, only to get captured by Grievous and tortured.
Wait, wasn't that Maul?
Well, there is Maul too, but he at least was never a Jedi.
No, I think that might be a case where Star Wars kind of shot itself in the foot with Maul, because they started the prequel generation with Zabrak is bad, Gur, and then it's kind of hard to then turn it around and go, but wait, there's more.
There you go.
I don't know. It's. I wonder when we get the resculpts for the Rebel Trooper, how many of those heads will work on the Jedi body.
Yeah, I was thinking about just putting a clone helmet or a clone face on there and going to town.
I mean, yeah, technically is Clone Trooper by the rules of mechanics.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could put a swoop bike rider helmet or a swoop bike rider head on there. Get a little bit of differentiality.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully
Just
there's
stock.
one without goggles.
Stocks and green stuff going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I've heard rumors that Ahsoka might be an attachment. I don't think they're true, but I've heard that Ahsoka might be like an upgrade card, kind of like the clone,
I can see
or like the
one of
Jedi Commander. Yeah, and I wonder if that's a design space where we'll get that saber throw built into the upgrade card with like named Jedi.
That would be cool because then all you have to do is make it unique, and then you don't have to hit the points as hard.
Right.
Hmm.
So, interesting thoughts. And I will say, our last conversation, Paul, about the Jedi leader that we had in theory crafting what it could possibly be. I think I'm actually more happy. Well, like I said, I think I'm more happy to see this direction they took instead of that like amped up 50-point thing that we were theorizing. 22 for less feels like, oh, I can take 3 of these and not have it feel really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But now it just is like, why take the clone captain on anything?
Well,
I mean, you gain Pierce and Impact 2 and 2 red with the Jedi, and you only gain Defend 1 and Outmaneuver with the captain. You do get to shoot a single dice, or maybe 2.
Yeah.
But
I think I would take the Jedi on like more aggressive arcs that I just want to get in and kill stuff. And I'm still probably taking the captain on like comms jammer arcs for when I wanted to get in and stick and just be an absolute nuisance.
Yeah.
And I'm probably taking the captain on ARFs with like the RPS. I think that makes sense. I think that still makes sense. Yeah.
I think
I need to look at like, yeah, with hack. Well, hacked is range 1 though, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think a hacked comms with Into the Fray Jedi arc would be pretty decent.
That would be cheeky. I think that would be cheeky. Yeah. A lot of cheeky options.
But
we'll see.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great place to wrap it up, guys. We've been going for a nice hour and a half, so I think hopefully we don't lose a lot of people here. But
no,
again, that's longer than I thought it was going to take to talk about the Trooper.
A solid 45 minutes and you're good, right?
Yeah.
I think we've done fairly well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're spicier than they first look, but not as spicy as to just overtake everything. And this is, I hope to see more of. This reinforces my joy that old fire support's gone, because we couldn't see things like this exist with old fire support.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
All right, AMG, you get that one. You get that one kudo. One.
Yeah.
As the dedicated clone player, I'm happy fire support's gone. Good job.
Now lower the comms technician.
Get rid of the comms technician and give us the old one back. That's the same as the other 3 factions that give us our comm slot, please. I want my comm slot on my core, please.
Yeah.
I want my comm slot back.
All right. Well,
all right.
Thank you guys for joining, and thank you guys for watching. That was Graeme and Pally.
Doodles.
Yeah, and we'll catch you later.
Later.